Joy Brown Radio Show. Enjoying the PM. It's time to go. So come on, come on. Let's live out loud. Let's love out loud. Let's do some more. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's live out loud. Let's love out loud. Let's do some more. Let's do some more. Enjoying the PM. Boy, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go. Live out loud. Love out loud. Let's do it some more. Enjoying the PM. Enjoying the PM. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go. Living out loud. Loving out loud. Let's do it some more. Yeah. So come on. Living out loud. Loving out loud. Let's do it some more. Come on.
And good evening and welcome to WBIS Awesome Radio 106.9 LPFM. You are in tune to Enjoying the PM, Positive Motivations with yours truly, Joy Brown, and Talk It Out with Joy on GPAC 23. I am excited about today. I have an amazing power couple that is joining me tonight. And one thing that I love about them, they are very transparent, and I'm excited to hear what they're going to say. So tonight we're going to be talking about the power of love. And I want to welcome to the platform none other than Bishop Ronald Godby and Pastor Carla Godby. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hello. We're doing amazing. We have arrived. We are officially on the Joy R. Brown show, and we are better because of it. So we're going to have an incredible time tonight. And thank you for referring to us as a power couple. I don't think we see ourselves that way, do we?
Oh, I believe you are.
Oh, thank you, Joy.
Cool. Thank
You are.
We received. We received.
You are.
Cool.
It's amazing to to see you all just operate in ministry and to see how you flow together, and then to have the opportunity to talk to you outside of ministry and still see that same respect. And we definitely got to talk about that tonight. But I'm just excited. I really am excited about having you all tonight. Just tell us a little bit about both of you. Tell us where you're from, and just give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Yeah, so first and foremost, again, thank you for welcoming us to your platform. And I want you to know that Pastor Carla has never agreed to do a podcast or a radio broadcast ever before.
Wow.
You are the first. And so,
You know why? 'Cause
Why?
I love your voice.
yeah, you're just amazing like that. How about that?
From day one, Joy.
So from now on, Joy, I'm putting you on speed dial. Whenever I need something from my wife, I'm going to have you ask her. How about that? I'm going to have you.
That's the deal. I got you. I got you, Bishop. I got you on that. But thank you. I'm honored. Oh God, I'm honored. Thank you.
You're worthy. And so thank you for just, again, allowing us to be a part of your platform and what you do. I'm Ronald Godby. We are originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and reared. We grew up 5 blocks away from each other, but
East side of
never
Detroit.
knew each other for 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years.
Wow.
She actually went to kindergarten with my brother.
Yeah, I never
And
knew he had a brother.
never knew that I existed. How about that, Joy?
Wow. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, so God is sovereign, truly. And that sovereignty is made known in our relationship, because if I had have known her before those 22 years,
Uh-huh.
I would have never had her. So God knows what he's up to.
He had a
And,
plan.
yeah, he had a plan.
He did. He did.
You know,
Wow.
we don't like to get into a lot of resume stuff because we're real people.
Mhm.
And I don't want people to get lost in our accomplishments. We're grateful to God that there are many.
Mhm.
That's not who we are. We're just regular, everyday people. We love God. We love his people. And God connected us to serve his people. And so who would you say we are?
Just everyday people.
Everyday
Yeah.
people.
People
How
that
about
live
that?
in
I like
Texas
that.
and love each other and love
Yeah.
people.
Absolutely. So,
Wow.
uh, yeah.
All right. Well, time flies by really quickly, so we just want to go ahead and jump in. The
Do
first question that I want to ask you guys is, how did you begin the journey of doing life together?
it.
How did you meet? How did you know that she was the one for you? How did you know, Pastor Carla, that he was the one for you? Yeah, how did life begin?
When we first met, it wasn't love at first sight. I thought it was cute.
Whoa, I'm just
But
finding this out.
it
On your
wasn't. I mean,
show.
it wasn't. It was for
For me, it
you.
was.
For you, it
Oh,
was.
I fell in
But
love soon as I
he
saw
asked me
you
to marry him on our first date.
on the
wow.
first.
Yes.
I knew what I knew. When she listened, Joy, my
Uh-huh.
version is better.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And here's the thing about relationship.
Hmm.
Perspectives still matter. And
Mhm.
they're sometimes unique to the individual. And it's a point that I really want us to grab and I really want us to own because even though you are one, you still see things different ways.
Okay.
And you have to embrace the other's perspective. And here's a case in point we have different perspectives. I think mine is better.
Yeah, his version is better. But Joy, I was more career oriented.
Mhm.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to get married.
She wasn't. She was just fine and flowing. And
As
she wasn't trying to get married. She wasn't trying to have no kids.
none of that, no dog.
Wow.
Then I came along.
And you changed the trajectory of that.
Joey,
And
are you hearing me? I changed all that.
yes.
Don't ever doubt my
Wow.
skills because I changed all that. But literally, Joy, so I'm
Wow.
sitting in the basement with one of my guys. I
Mhm.
just got done with the speaking engagement, so I was still in a suit.
Mhm.
And my brother tells me that his fiance's best friend is down getting fitted for your
For
dress.
yeah,
She
for
was
her
getting
wedding.
fitted for her dress for my brother and my soon-to-be sister-in-law's wedding.
Wow.
So I'd heard about this lady, this young lady, Carla, for a long time. I'd never seen her, never witnessed anything about her. Just heard her name blowing in the wind. And this lady comes walking down the stairs. My heart starts beating. Man, I am like, who in the world is that? And my brother says, that's Carla. And I'm like, that's my wife. And I'm like,
Wow.
dude, see if you can get him to go out with us to eat. And he says, okay, sure. He asked Yodi, who's her best friend,
Mhm.
if she would be available to go out to dinner. And she agreed. And so I'm going to run upstairs and get fresh. You don't know nothing about that, Joy.
Yeah.
Run up and get fresh. I'm going to put on my best gear. Now, remember, this is over 28 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Cross colors,
Mhm.
major damage. You don't know nothing about that, Joy.
No,
Yeah,
that's before my time.
Right,
that's
right.
before your time, young
Yes.
lady. Back in our day, this was the happening gear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs, I'm gonna get fresh and I'm gonna come back down and I'm gonna woo her, right? So I
Wow.
run up the stairs to get dressed. And guess what? I get to the top stair and miss and fall
Oh,
all
no.
down the stairs. So when I say I fell head over heels for her the first,
Ooh.
I literally fell head over heels.
Yeah.
for you the first
She did.
Wow, Pastor Carla. You had that, oh my goodness, you had that appeal.
Yeah, so for me, it was love at first sight. I don't know what she's talking about, but for me,
That wasn't in the picture for me.
Okay, so Bishop knew that right when he first met you, that is my wife. Now, your perspective on that.
I was hungry.
that's
A
the reason
female
I got
here,
it.
I hear you.
And drove all the way down. It was like 4.5 hours.
Right.
Got fitted for the dress. And they said, hey, do you want to go out to eat with Ralph's brother? I said, well, I'm hungry. So sure.
Thank God for hunger. And it's so good
Wow.
that we're pulling these things out
Yeah.
because everybody thinks that you have to have this fairy tale magical moment. And sometimes it's just going with how God sovereignly set the moment,
Wow.
and being sensitive to God's timing and
Mhm.
sensitive to how God is orchestrating things. And, to say that we started off on the same page is just not true. Uh,
Mhm.
thank God we got to the same
Yeah.
page. And that's what the dating phase is about. It's an interview period. And when
Okay.
you understand that you're interviewing the potential of a person, the
Mhm.
possibilities of a person, it's in the discovery phase of dating that you get to decide whether you move forward or not. And so I thank God that we had an opportunity to discover each other.
Yeah, after dinner, we had a great conversation, and
And I made you laugh.
yes, you did.
I made,
Yeah.
gentlemen, hear me. Laughter is better than money.
Mhm,
Wow.
We had a
Wow.
lot of people that could pay for anything, buy anything,
mhm.
but they couldn't do that one thing, and that's make her feel a way that she had never felt before.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so I focused on her feelings. I focused on making her feel a way that I believe that no man had ever made her feel before. And I wanted to make her laugh.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So I won
Yeah.
her with
Mission
laughter.
accomplished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Now, how long have you all been married?
27
7
years.
years.
27 years.
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
27. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay, and how long did you date before that?
Ah,
So we knew each other, what, 30 years
yeah.
in total.
Okay.
Yep. So 3 years we knew each other 3 years prior to getting married. Now, mind you,
Mhm.
we were engaged 2 months after we met.
Wow.
Two
So
months.
you already had the plan, you knew.
Joy, I told you I was
Oh,
that way. I heard from the Lord.
oh, well, I'm
Really,
gonna have to send mine to Bishop.
man. I'm a man that knows what I want. And when I see what I want, I get what I
That
want.
is amazing. 2
I
months.
went after it. I went after it in the name of Jesus. Now, I didn't
Yeah.
quite work out that way.
Right.
Now, can we talk about that, Joy?
Yes, let's talk about that.
Because
Yeah.
your listeners need to hear it.
Okay.
Again, sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men do fail.
Mhm,
Mhm.
And so I asked her to marry me 2 months after we met,
mhm.
and she said yes. Now I'm trying to be a good preacher. So, I really want to do things right.
Right.
With
Right.
this beautiful woman, and I want to do things right. You
Mhm.
guys can interpret what that means, but I'm not
Absolutely.
trying to be
Mhm.
out there. I'm trying to live a life of integrity, and I want to be committed and all this
Right.
good stuff. So
Mhm,
I want to get married like yesterday.
mhm.
Mhm.
That
So
day.
yeah, like,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, we need to do this. And so she's in college at the time,
Mhm.
Okay.
and
Senior.
and she's a senior. She's
Mhm.
going to point that out every
Yes.
time I tell the
Right.
story,
Because this is real important.
because this is an
Okay.
important point to her, at least.
Mhm.
She's
Mhm.
a senior. I happened to work for a university at the
Mhm.
time. They would pay for my wife's college education,
Mhm.
and we could get married. We could solve a whole lot of stuff in
Wow.
one decision. And she tells me, now I want to finish school. And I'm like, but I want to get married. And she was like, yeah, after we finish school. So she tells me, well, either you can wait or you can't. Didn't you tell me that?
Not so much direct like
She
that, but
told me
kind of like
that way, y'all. Everybody hear me. That's what she told me, right? And so now I got to be a man, right? Because she gave me an ultimatum.
Mhm.
And I got to put my man on that. And I'm like, well, either we get married now or not at all. And guess what she tells me, Joy? She says,
Not at all.
not at all.
Oh my god.
now. Joy, if you're a senior and you're going to transfer to another university,
Uh-huh.
it's likely you're going to lose some credits.
Okay, I understand. Yes.
If I've been to a university going on 3.5, going on 4,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you don't lose any credits
Yeah,
because
I can agree with that.
you graduate from a university that you spend time, that you love.
But you don't have every day to get me, Joy.
True,
That's what I'm saying in my
true.
mind.
But this is where patience,
Okay. Yeah.
patience.
So she pulls my card. And what am I left to do? Now I got to man up like, all right, we'll forget you then. Woo!
Bishop, I know you did not say that to her.
I did. Oh, the bishop. I wasn't a bishop then, Joy. I wasn't a bishop. I still had some brother in me.
He was so young.
I still had some brother in me.
Wow.
So I wasn't all the way on the bishop side yet.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
You
All
know?
right.
And I'm like, man, okay, so she really pulled my man card. So now I got to do something. And so the best I could think was, well, forget you then. We won't get married. And guess what she did? She took
I'm waiting.
my poor little ring. Then I just gathered all my little money and got her the most beautiful ring that I could get her. And, you know, because, all right, so let me tell the whole story.
Okay.
Because, you know, you got to have something to connect you with somebody that you really love.
Absolutely.
That you need to let go. You know, so I'm going to call her, well, then give me my ring back then. You know, because at least I got a connection. Remember, all communication is still communication.
Yes.
Even if it is inappropriate communication, it's still communication. So sometimes arguing is not for an enemy. Sometimes arguing is to keep me close to what I believe is my friend. And so I'm gonna call and argue with her about my ring because at least it connects us. We got something to have a conversation about. So I said, okay, well then if we're done, you can send me my ring back.
Can you believe that?
And
Wow.
it's a token of a promise that is made.
That
You don't give the ring back though, Bishop. You don't give the ring back.
Hey, if you reject the promise,
he's old school.
you give the ring back. It's just right. It's just right. She took my poor little ring.
Wow.
Joy, can you see it?
I can see it. I can see it.
Go to Lake Michigan. I said,
wow.
Ring. And right now, some fish has that diamond ring.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the bottom of Lake Michigan, y'all. Before this life is over,
Oh. Carla. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful, precious angel took my poor little ring and chucked it in. Like
I would have kept that ring, Pastor Carla.
I didn't know anything about pawn shops or anything.
Just pretty spoiled little kid. Jay knows she could have got some good money for the ring.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my goodness.
We're laughing that the relationship is not perfect. And I think that that's the reason that some people never enter into a substantive relationship because they're looking for perfection.
Yes.
It's very imperfect, but it's about committing to that which is imperfect until it's perfected. And daily, as we go and grow and discover how to enter into a space that we can provide for the other what the other needs. It's just about having that commitment. And, you know, through all of that, and that's why we tell people about it and we laugh about it now, but those were very painful moments then. But those moments that were painful were taking us to purpose. And because we remain committed to each other through our imperfect places. And even till today, we still have to stay committed to each other in imperfect places. So thank God that things don't always start off rhythmic and fluid and that they don't always go the way that you want, because again, that's training for life's journey. Because it's not going to always be rhythmic and fluid. Again, it's not about being perfect. It's about being faithful and it's about being committed. And even in our most imperfect times, we were still faithful and committed to the idea of what God had gifted.
We were both family oriented.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I think that's really how we got reconnected.
Yeah. So her mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and we weren't even dating. You know, we just always remained amicable friends.
Yeah. During that process, my family, my mom and dad got connected to his mom and dad.
Yeah.
And they had a relationship, a friendship relationship where they always checked on each other.
Right.
I believe that's really what kept us
connected
together.
Yeah, definitely. And when your mom got sick, you know, me being who I am, I needed to go see your mom.
Right.
and it was literally on her mom's deathbed. And here's the piece, guys. Check this out. So her
Mhm.
mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I come to what I believe is her mother's deathbed, only for her mother to look at both of us and say, and her mom's not like this at all. Her mom is very Carla. Like Carla is her world. Carla was her everything.
Mhm.
And she looked at me and Carla and said, both of you need to stop acting stupid. Now, her mother has never had a strong word with me ever.
Wow.
And she said, you both need to stop acting stupid and do what God has assigned you both to do, and that's get married. And so I walked out of that moment and knowing what I knew, and everybody hated me for this because I just abandoned everybody. And I called her up and I said, listen, you still love me? She said, yeah, I'm always love you. And I said, well, then let's get married. What did you do?
Put him on hold.
She put me on hold, Joy.
And I went back to my office and I checked my schedule. And I took him off mute. And I said, yeah, I'm available this day.
And she gave me Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
And
I like that. I love that approach, Pastor Carla.
which was 2 months from the time that we initially got engaged.
Yeah.
Because that was
Wow.
the time that we got
Wow. That
engaged.
is beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's amazing that your mother knew that you guys were destined to be together.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes that mother.
Too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
My mom and dad, they just hated anybody that I dated.
Mhm.
Anybody was never Carla. And no matter how great they were, I'm like,
Wow.
they're okay, they're good with it. Nah, it's not Carla. And so they just wouldn't allow it. So everybody hear me and please understand this.
Mhm.
When you're dating, always include people who are in covenant connection with you.
Mm.
Again, they have your best
Yes.
interests at hand.
Mhm.
A lot of times we date too long before we invite people into the presence of people who are connected to us that can discern them.
Right.
Yes.
And so don't take so long because then your heart gets in it. And no matter what people who really love you say, you won't listen to them because you'll go with your heart instead of your covenant. And so make sure that when you are connecting with people, try to, as soon as possible, get them in the presence of maybe your parents, your
Mhm.
pastor, somebody that doesn't have the same emotional tie that you have,
I know you.
but who knows you.
Mhm.
And they can discern this individual to discover whether or not that's somebody that would fit into the I guess framework of what you need for your relationship going forward. And so
Wow.
always keep a second set of eyes and ears in your relationship, and it will do you well.
That's great advice, Bishop, because a lot of times we like to run to those that are going to be in our corner and agree to what we want.
Sure.
Mhm.
But you do need that objective pair of eyes to look and say, wait a minute, have you considered this? Have you considered that? And a lot of times when we get our emotions caught up in at the moment, we really can't see clearly. So I do understand that. And that's great advice. Thank you all for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about some deal breakers and non-negotiables. Let's talk about those in relationships.
So what were some of your non-negotiables?
I guess earlier it was one, I wanted to finish school. That
Mhm.
was one of my, I wasn't going to bend on that. Again, I wanted to finish college because it was important to me.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, and for both of us, one of our uh, deal breakers was that if the person number one wasn't a believer, we both came into our relationship really committed to our faith.
Be a tither.
Yep, you had to be a tither. You
Mhm.
had to be a giver.
Mhm.
Just and I think that that's the beauty of our relationship is that if we disagree on a billion different things,
Mhm.
one common core value that we possess is our core value to give,
Mhm.
and we're both givers. So I never have to worry like, what is my wife thinking about when I'm giving the farm away?
Mhm.
She would do the same.
Yeah.
And so we were connected at our core. which is something that I take couples through when we're talking about marriage enrichment. I take them through what is called the 7 layers of why, because whenever you ask yourself a question 7 times and you give an honest, sober, clear, well thought out answer, it'll take you 7 layers deep within yourself. And 7 layers deep, you'll find your core. And when you find your core, connect to people who have like core values. Notice I didn't say the same core values,
Mm-hmm.
but at least like core values. And so those were our non-negotiables. Those were our deal breakers.
Right.
How we would rear our children.
Mhm.
Again, political preferences. These are things that divide the world daily. But for some reason, we think that when we get in relationship, there's this magic lamp. And I always try to teach people that the altar is not a magic lamp. It
Mhm.
doesn't make someone other. You just get more of what you're getting. And so if you don't discover who you're getting at the onset, you'll get at that altar believing that they'll become something else. And
Mhm.
that's when people get severely disappointed and they find that they're not connected at their core. And that's where divorce comes from.
Mm. Wow.
Divest ourselves from people that we can no longer invest in. And the worst thing in the world is to be in a relationship that is like pockets with holes in them. You're
Mm.
trying to put something in a place where it just leaks out. And so rather than go through that up front, identify what your non-negotiables are.
Mhm.
Identify what your core values are. And
Mhm.
if you don't connect at the core, that's when you keep it moving. And when you find that your core values and your non-negotiables are so radically different, and that's
Mhm.
when you need to keep it moving because that's something that's probably going to wreck your world somewhere up the road.
Wow. And when you mention that, I think about red flags. How do you handle those? Because a lot of times we get into relationships, and sometimes, because I've even made the statement, I didn't see this, but yes, I did see that, but I chose not to see it while entertaining. How do we deal with the red flags and when they arise?
Yeah,
Discernment is so important.
yeah.
And time.
Mhm,
Again, once you see it, don't settle in it.
mhm.
Keep moving.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, so many people I see, they stay in relationships too long on the hopes of the wish of
yeah.
maybe they'll change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what you see is pretty much what you're going to get.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a powerful point. Again, you have to discern an individual.
Mhm,
Mhm.
Once you discern who they are, like Maya Angelou says, believe who they are.
mhm,
Yes.
So
Yes.
everybody, please hear me. Before we enter into covenant, you are optional.
Mm.
And you need to understand that. You need to date with that understanding. You never give someone covenant privileges prior to entering into covenant with them. And what I
Yes.
mean by that is when you discover that you are totally different, you're radically different, and that there is no common connection at the core, you cut that person off before you enter into covenant with them,
Mm.
before you fall deeper into them. And you have to discover whether or not you choose your integrity or this individual.
mhm.
You see,
Mhm.
sometimes we're responsible for the pain that we cause ourselves
Yes.
because we push past things that we knew better than.
Right.
Mhm.
That's why God gives you discernment and that check in your spirit so that you don't push past it, so that you can sever the relationship and maybe you can salvage a friendship.
Mhm. Mhm.
Remember,
Wow.
every friend is not a covenant partner. Every friend is not a spouse. Some
Mhm.
people deserve to exist in a friend category, not in a boyfriend girlfriend category,
Relationship. Yeah.
a relationship category. So when you discover what type of relationship you can have with an individual, then that's when you again engage at that point and you take things deeper because that's the capacity of that person.
Mhm.
Never believe that you can create capacity in a person that doesn't have it.
Wow.
You are
Wow.
setting yourself up for failure. And so a lot of times we believe, well, if I just love them more, if I just do this more, if I just expect more, if I just direct more. No, that's why, again, you're adults because the behaviors and the patterns are formed. And now it's up to you to discern it, discover it. And if you can't deal with it, you need to divest yourself as soon as you possibly can.
Wow.
Go beyond.
When you were talking, I thought about I've heard this so many times, and I have even said this myself. I can change him.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And everybody, please understand this. You will only get more of what you have.
Yeah, you'll get
Mhm.
frustrated.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get frustrated.
Right.
Again, once a person's core values are formed,
Mhm.
once their ideologies and their philosophies are formed, they are who they are.
Right.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, we live in a culture where we have cultivated people to connect at a later stage in life.
Mhm.
That's extremely detrimental and harmful to relationship. Our American ideologies have connected us into a culture that says that you want to get in relationship after your career has been, has yielded everything that your heart desires, after you bought everything that you desire to have, after you're established in this area. Now,
You have to grow
you got to
together.
grow together.
Grow together. That's good.
That's
That's
why it's important to find someone that you can grow with,
Mhm.
right? And again, difference is okay. That's fine. That's not a deal breaker.
Mhm.
It's okay to be different. I need you to bring your uniqueness to the table.
Wow.
I need to discover whether I have the capacity for that. And if I don't have the capacity for that, I need to be honest with myself and understand that when I step to an altar with someone, again,
Mhm.
it's not a magical lamp. I'm just getting more of who I have. So if you can't embrace somebody on the level that they're on, at the stage and the place that they're at in life, and love them where they are,
Mhm.
then you'll never love them into becoming something other than what they are.
Wow.
Myth
Wow.
and misnomer is
Mhm.
that Jesus loves us because we're perfect. No, Jesus loved you before you ever knew your possibilities. With
Mm.
all your evil, with all of your failures, with all of your faults, he loved you. So love is the beginning place. Love is the foundation for a relationship. Now, here's what's going to mess you up. Love says, I don't need you to change. Many people think that Christianity is a call for change. It's not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Christianity says, I love you the way you are. And in
Wow.
loving you the way you are, I get an opportunity to give you an example of what you should be.
Mm.
I get to live it in front of you until you can be inspired by my lifestyle. And from being inspired by my life, then that's when you can make a conscious decision within yourself to do something different. And so, if you don't love somebody enough to live with them in their dysfunctional place and provide an example for them so that they can come into a more powerful place, and you don't really love them. Okay.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so love really covers a multitude of sin. Love says, I don't need you to change. I love you where you are, like you are, just the way you are. And if you never change anything, you're enough for me. And
Wow.
when you can say that about somebody, then you got it. That's why we want to start off by showing you guys our relationship didn't start off in a perfect place. But in the midst of all of that, she was enough for me. And in the midst of all of that, I was enough for her. And when we came to the altar, we decided that I didn't need you to be anything other than what you were. I accept
Wow.
you, flaws and all. And through this journey, I'm going to have an opportunity to inspire you to be greater. But if
Mm.
you never change anything, who you are and where you are is enough.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you all. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you all for tuning in to WBIS Awesome Radio 106.9 LPFM. You're in tune to Enjoying the PM, Positive Motivations with yours truly, Joy Brown, and also Talk It Out with Joy on GPAC 23. I am joined with Bishop Ronald and Pastor Carla Godby, and they are giving us some excellent advice. And you're really helping me. I know you're helping some other people, but you're really helping me and opening up my eyes to some things, and I really appreciate that. Now, one thing that I noticed about you, both of you are friends, best friends.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
You got to be friends first.
Hmm.
When you fall in love with your friend, then that's when life is full. That's when it's complete. Again,
You really don't fall out with friends.
with friends, not
Mhm.
real
If you
friends.
have a true friendship,
Right.
you don't
Mhm.
fall out.
Yeah. And friends supersedes fine.
Hmm.
Friends supersedes fun.
Yeah.
Any word you can put in there, friendship supersedes that.
Mhm.
And so if we could be friends,
Mhm.
then we've achieved the ultimate goal. Everybody check this out. John 3:16, for God so loved the world. Remember, love is the given,
Mhm.
but friendship is the goal.
Yes.
If we just understood that, we would make friendship the goal in every relationship that God gives us. If we can make it to friends, Jesus walks with his disciples for 3 years, but he doesn't use this term until he's ready to exit. And he calls them friend. He says, I no more call you servant, but I call you friend. Because friendship is really the goal. And when you're in a relationship, friendship should be the goal. And
Mhm.
so this is my friend, which means that I don't have to find my fun in anybody else. I find it in my friend. I don't
Mhm.
have to find my joy in anybody else. I find it in my friend. I don't find it at the bar
Hmm.
because I'm with my friend. See,
Mhm.
that's the problem. So many of us are looking for things in all of these ancillary external extremities, but when you can find it with the person who lays next to you every day,
Mhm.
when you can make jokes with each other and cap on each other and make fun of each other, laugh at each other, not take things so serious,
I get offended.
not get
Yeah.
offended, you
Wow.
know?
Or be in a
Mhm.
room
Right,
and be in silence sometimes.
right. Because
But
we're
know
friends.
that we're
Right, right.
very close.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm upstairs, sometimes he's downstairs.
And that's happened a little more
Yeah.
often than not lately. We're gonna have to do better. We put
Well,
this out on your show.
we'll talk about TV shows later.
Right. But
Yes.
again, and don't get so blessed that it begins the start of your burden. All right.
Mhm.
Again, when you get enough rooms in one house, you gotta make sure that you're still sharing them with your friend.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, we've been in different rooms a little bit lately, watching different
Bishop
things because
loves stuff repetitively. I mean, he'll watch the same show. I'm not talking 2 times, but 10 times over
Ooh.
and over.
but she ain't gonna
I
tell
don't
y'all that
like
she
reruns.
watches the Home Shopping Network. Like who does
No,
that?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
like if I let her watch that, like I don't want to see
no,
that.
I watch HTV. I watch the home show. I like to see what's coming
Yes.
out.
Yes.
I love watching the news.
Wow. Wow.
I'm a news junkie. But here's the
Not
point,
all the
guys.
time,
Yeah. But here's the point.
though.
But we're still friends,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And even in the midst of finding the things that we don't have in common, there's
Mhm.
enough things that ground us and root us
That's
to
awesome.
where even when we're apart, it only makes us long to get back together. And it
Mhm.
makes us come back to a space because, again, and everybody hear this, and I think this is important, Joy.
Mhm.
A lot of times we look for people to give us our joy and to give us our peace,
Yes.
give us our happiness. But what a friend does, a friend doesn't give you any of that.
Mhm.
A friend makes you aware that you already have that.
Wow.
And so, because she's my friend, she helps me become aware of my peace that I
Mm.
already have. because she's my friend, she makes me aware of the joy that I
Mhm.
already have. And so when I'm laughing with her, it's her making me aware of the joy.
Wow.
You
Wow.
see, that's why it's so important to find your friend. And a lot of us, again, want to find fine, and we want to find tall, and we want to find handsome, and we want to find good job and good career. But the question is, did you find your friend? Yeah, because careers end,
Mhm.
jobs they fade,
Yeah. Yeah.
economies change, realities are altered.
Mhm.
Friendship remains constant. And
Wow.
in this world of things always changing, us being friends will always be the same. And so in our difficult days, we're friends. In the days that we don't understand each other, we're friends. How can I live without my friend? You see? And so that's why divorce is never an option for us. And we've been through some stuff that you could get divorced about.
Mm.
But we've never entertained that because to lose her, I'd have to lose my best friend. And I couldn't see living life without a friend. Now,
Oh, so sweet.
Still have standards though.
yeah, yeah,
Again, you got to have good work ethics.
right,
I believe you got to have good credit score.
sure.
Mhm.
Again, those are things
They help.
you still need it.
Yeah,
You know,
they help. They help.
you had a bad credit score and I had a better credit score,
We'd be in a mess.
we'd be the mess.
But because we're
Absolutely.
friends, I want to have the best
Mhm.
so that my
Mhm.
friend can have the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is my enemy, this is my ally. And I think that sometimes wives and husbands can become enemies and
Mhm.
they can divide and they can separate because, again, that's all that they see themselves as.
Mhm.
But when you really have a friend, I mean, again, when you reach the goal and you get to the place that it took God to get to the end to discover and find that out and figure that out about those who were following him,
Mhm.
and you really got something. So we really want to encourage people out there, find your friend.
First.
Yeah, if that relationship is
Mhm.
going sour, a lot of times you think that it's in having more sex, you think it's in making more money. It's in finding your friend again. If you want to fix your marriage, if you want to fix your relationship, find your friend again.
Yeah. Good
Commit,
times and bad
yep,
times.
commit
Look
to
at that
finding your
person
friend.
who's there
Yeah,
during the bad
Yeah.
yeah.
times.
Because it's my ride or die. She's
Mhm.
gonna be there when nobody else is.
Yeah.
When I get the worst news, my friend is there. When I get great news, my friend is there. We celebrate when we celebrate, we mourn when we mourn. And the greatest thing is to know that when I cry, I got a shoulder to cry on. And
Wow.
when I get good news, I got somebody to celebrate with. So that's the beauty of having a
Wow.
friend.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Let's we're talking about friendship. Let's shift that over into ministry.
Mhm.
Working together in ministry. You all do a phenomenal job with that.
Mhm.
Cool.
Let's talk about working together in ministry as a couple.
Yeah. So you want to talk about it because I'm actually your boss.
Yeah, and like I
And
said,
wait, let me
no,
say
let me
this.
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
There's different
Go ahead.
roles that I do play: a wife,
Mhm.
mother, and I also work. And Bishop is my boss when we're at work. But again, we still have a mutual relationship that I know that hey, he's still my husband. But when I'm in my work mode, that's
Mhm.
who I am. I'm doing work.
Yeah. And I'm your boss.
Yes,
And I
and I
kiss her at
respect that.
work
Right.
and I feel on her booty at work and all that good stuff. I do. I'm telling you, I do. And she tells me every time I'm gonna report you.
To me.
She always telling me she's gonna report me to the
Oh my
authorities.
goodness. Who are you gonna report to, Pastor Carla?
I'm doing that at work.
Yes, yes.
But I want to say that because again,
That's
some of y'all make stuff so spooky.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be spooky. Ministry, again, just means that God has connected us for a divine sovereign purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Bring forth his will in the earth. And if we're walking around in collars and crosses all day, acting like we're,
Wow.
she's Pastor Carla and I'm Bishop. No, there's sometimes she's Carla and I'm Ronnie.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
even when we're working, we have to find,
Mhm.
again, that space because I've watched ministry divide so many homes. And I've watched so many people end up in divorce court under the guise of
Mhm.
we're going to do ministry together. I really don't think it's that deep. Again, it's our core values that connect us. And whether I were doing ministry somewhere on the other side of the world and she were doing ministry on the side of the world that she were on, these are things that matter to both of us. And we just simply connect in covenant to carry out the kingdom agenda and mandate. And we have fun at work. We enjoy our time together. There's nothing better than to get to ride into work with your wife, to
Wow.
get to spend all day
24/7.
long
Yeah,
with
24/7.
your
But
wife.
it wasn't always like that,
No,
you know.
no, we both work
Yeah, we both
careers.
had careers,
Yeah,
and but we did ministry too.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
So now we just get to do all ministry,
together.
and you know, and I challenge people to stop making it so hyper mystical. You know, make it what it is. And that's the greatest gift that God could give you, to do ministry every day with your spouse. We get
Wow.
to help people, we get to bless people, we get to
Yeah.
change the trajectory of people's lives.
Yes.
And we come back and we just stand in awe of what God is able to do through us.
Mm.
And we have our roles and we respect them. Like, you know, she's a financial wizard. I'm all right. You know, the business of the church, she keeps it flowing. If that were up to me, man, we'd be up a creek without a paddle, you know. Um, but because of her, we're
Mhm.
in the best financial position that we've ever been in as an organization.
Mhm.
My leadership skills are what they are, and that's my area of expertise. And so again, we play as a team. We
Wow.
never compete, so we're not
No.
fighting for a mic.
And that's the key to relationship,
Yeah,
I like
knowing that you're on the same team.
same team,
Yeah.
Wow.
team. And so whatever we did, if it were working in church or if it were working in our own private businesses, we understand we're on the same
Yeah.
team.
The goal is
I
not
like that.
Right. We don't hurt each
No.
other. We're here to, again, inspire each other, to encourage each
Right.
other, to help each other reach our best self. And I don't make her work at the church. She doesn't have to do that. She's a very accomplished woman of God. She can do whatever she wants. Uh, this is what I believe we've chosen to do together. You
Wow.
know,
I
she's been very accomplished in her career. There's times she's made way more money than me. I mean, literally.
love.
And but we made that.
right.
Mhm.
It's never been a you. It's always been a
Right.
us.
I love that. I love it.
Mine. It's ours. It's
Mhm.
we. And so to work together,
Mhm.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
whatever we did, we'd be together and we'd be
Mhm.
committed to enhancing each other so that we could reach our goals. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So ministry is a
Mhm.
breeze. Yeah.
You guys are amazing. You are, and I love the teamwork. I love the friendship. I love how you operate together in ministry. And yes, all ministry, I mean, all um, couples have their problems behind the scene, but I applaud both of you because I know that it has to start at home because just watching you and, flow in ministry together and to see how you respect each other and how you love each other and you can feel it. You don't hear it, but you feel it.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate that, seeing that in you. I
Yeah.
do appreciate that.
Before we move on, Joy, let me say this. You can always tell a healthy church because it has a leader who has a healthy home.
Yes. Yes.
You want to measure a church, measure a man's home.
Mhm.
Measure the leader's home. The church house simply reflects what's happening in your house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's why we have a healthy church, because we have a healthy home.
Mm. That's
And
good.
all of you who want to pastor people, but your home ain't healthy,
Wow.
you're about to contaminate a whole lot of people. So
Wow.
make sure your house is healthy before you want to leave God's house. Make
Wow.
sure you found your friend
It's in order.
before you go try to lead God's people.
Yeah.
Make sure your relationships are in order before you try to relate to God's people.
I love that. I love it. It is 10 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour, and I am so glad to be joining this evening with Bishop Ronald and Pastor Carla Godby on the power of love and talking about relationship and friendships. And, my time is winding up here, but I have a few more questions that I want to ask. And we may just do that on Facebook Live if you have about 5 more minutes. But I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to WBIS Awesome Radio 106.9 LPFM. You're in tune to Enjoying the PM, Positive Motivations with yours truly, Joy Brown and W. Thank you so much for WBIS GPAC 23. Again, we are so just enlightened by what Bishop and Pastor are sharing with us on this evening. And I just absolutely love it. My time is winding up, and my theme song will probably be coming on in a few minutes. But I want to ask a couple of more questions. How do you keep the flame burning in your marriage, in your relationship? How do you keep that flame burning?
Yeah, you got to be intentional. Again, so many people want to do it.
Joy Brown radio show. Enjoying the PM. It's time to go. So come on. Come on. Let's live out loud. Let's love out loud. Let's do some more. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's live out loud. Let's love out loud. Let's do some more. Let's do some more. Enjoying the PM. Oh, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go. Live out loud. Love out loud. Let's do it some more. Enjoying the PM. Enjoying the PM. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go. Living out loud. Loving out loud. Let's do some more. Yeah. So come on. Living out loud. Loving out loud. Let's do some more. Come on.
Hi, my name is Minister Cooper. I listen to Awesome Radio.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, we have a few more questions that we want to ask you. You guys did amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You did amazing. I got an assignment for you too. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's all I need is a yes. That's all I need.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got to be my partner in crime. We about to ride and die, and we about to do it the radio way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love this. Cool.
Okay, couple of more questions. The first one is, how do you keep the flames burning in your marriage?
Like
Yeah.
Bishop was saying, it's intentional. We like I said, we both like to eat, so we'll look on Google or YouTube to see if it's a meal that we want to cook or a restaurant we want to visit, and again, we just plan it.
We've driven 5 hours just to go to a restaurant. Literally.
Wow.
Right back.
Again, it's fueling like passions. It's fueling the things that, again, need a flame. Remember, in order to have a flame, you got to have fuel. And so you have to discover what's the fuel, what's going to get you there. And when you get there, you got to keep filling up. You can't fill your car up once and go anywhere. You can't fill the propane tank up once and barbecue for a lifetime. At some point, you got to keep getting fuel. And so whatever the fuel is to your relationship, keep refueling. Keep doing what you did to get them the way that you got them. And you got to commit to it over and over and over and over again. So for 27 years, we've been getting fuel for our relationship.
Wow.
Don't let your lamp go out of oil, go without oil. The groomsman is coming. Okay. Again, remember, these biblical principles are conditioning you to care for your present priorities. When you understand that, then you know that, man, you got to keep getting fuel for the lamp. You got to keep getting oil for that lamp. Because if there's a flame, it's going to burn up the fuel. And all of us think that the flame just keeps going. Keep going to get oil. You keep going to get fuel. And when you do that and you're intentional about doing that, like you can't just watch your car be on a quarter of a tank. That's why I teach my children, top your car off every day. Remember, these behaviors are creating habits and patterns. And when you top your tank off every day, you'll have no problem topping your tank off, your tank of love off every day. You'll keep it on full. Watch people who ride around on fumes. Trust me. That's going to be your relationship, right? Like,
Guilty.
Please,
let me make it. Some of y'all do that. Y'all be praying all the way.
You don't want to do that.
Top that tank off. Keep the fuel in the tank. Keep the oil in the lamp. And that means intentionally, daily. Stop about whatever that gas station is, whatever that oil stop is. For us, it's food. For us, it's the light things that we share.
And it's the maintenance on each other.
Yeah, you gotta maintenance.
I can't wear my hair in a ponytail every time and just wear nothing.
This girl be looking like this every day. She
you
get
gotta
that
pick
fuel.
yourself up.
She get that fuel. Amen. She get that fuel. She get that lamp ready. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Me and ladies have to do it.
Go to Victoria's Secret. Get some oil in there. Don't get the bloomers
Just
from
stay clean.
Walmart.
Take
Take a shower. Do the
I love it. Yeah.
Now you ain't done a real shower till you did the white rag shower. Y'all hear me
I
now?
don't believe I get the scrub.
Right.
Okay.
Scrub.
Scrub
them places in the washcloth. You can't just put soap on your body. Get that washcloth. Prepare yourself. Fix
Make your skin soft.
Right. Put some lotion on them jokers. Get some manicures, some pedicures. She don't want sandpaper up against her legs every night. You leave big chunks of skin in the bed because you won't get your feet pet. Men, I'm talking to you.
And ladies.
Wow.
And it's something that you can do at home too.
Right.
You don't have to always go to
You ain't gotta have I can't got time to go to the
shop.
You ain't gotta go.
See, I did mine.
Take care of yourself. Right.
You look good.
Ain't perfect, but
Right. Keep fuel in that tank. Keep oil in that lamp.
Yes.
Be
I love
intentional with your relationship. Take care of you.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then
Now,
take care of
let
them.
me ask you this. Do you all do um, conferences for marriage conferences, and then also conferences for those that are considering marriage or maybe engaged.
No,
No.
because she won't. She ain't gonna do that. I told you, Joy.
I'll
You're,
do
you're
one.
Carla?
Do one-on-one.
right,
Yeah, okay.
One.
right.
But in a big crowd, no, I don't.
Yeah, she. That's just not her thing. And when
Okay.
you talk about ministry, again, I respect her boundaries.
Okay.
Respect her no. I respect
Mhm.
that's not me. And I never force her into being what people want her to be.
I like that. That's
When we
good.
first came to the river, there was this rumor, and people don't even know that I know what the rumor was. But a lot of people couldn't figure out how did we end up at the river. So I had a very good relationship with Pastor Cheryl Brady's sister.
Mhm.
Pastor became personal. She's like a mom to me while she was living.
Mhm.
And when we first came to the river, people swore up and down that Pastor Carl was like some love child or something from the Brady family. And that's what connected us to them.
Oh
And
my God.
they expected her to be a preacher like Pastor Brady. Like Pastor K is very gifted. Pastor K could sing. She was
Uh-huh.
Pastor Brady, of course, is one of God's greatest gifts to the planet in preaching.
Mhm.
And people had in their minds like Pastor Carlin was going to come in and be a preacher. I kept telling people like that's not who she is. We just let her preach one Sunday. No, that's not who she is. I know her comfort level. I know what God has called her to do and what He's called her to be to the body of Christ. And I'm never going to ask her to do something that violates her. And so I'm not here to please people. I'm here to respect and honor my wife. And that's what, again, helps us, be prosperous in ministry. So something she's not comfortable with, I'm not going to ask her to do it. So that's why we don't do conferences.
Okay. Okay. But you guys give some one-on-one. Pastor Carlisle, make my appointment with you.
There you go.
But
Yeah,
there again, thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
thank you.
I appreciate it. And I have some nuggets. I wrote down some things. And yeah. And you guys just keep doing what you do because it's working.
Appreciate
It's
Yeah,
working.
keep doing what
Mhm.
you do.
Yes.
And again, thank you for extending your platform
Yes.
to us. Again, that really matters to me. Again, I pastor a lot of people, and a lot of times they do their thing, and they never invite you onto their platform. But tonight you invited us, and I'm so glad that we accepted, and we're grateful that you would extend the opportunity. So thank you so much, man.
Well, thank you for accepting. That's it for Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk with you later. Hold on one second, Bishop. Hold on one second. I'm going to end the broadcast.